are many questions that students have. So
Okay.
one of them is how to find a supervisor. And why I'm asking you this question, because you just have applied and you just got shortlisted
Yes.
and
Yes.
you have all those things in your mind that what you
Yes.
went through. So can you
Yeah.
tell us, like, how did you find a supervisor, or how did you shortlist a university for yourself?
Okay, so I was first looking for universities that have neuroscience in their curriculum, and especially if they have PhD positions.
Mhm.
And then I sort of made it very specific because I had worked with microglia during my MSc work. Like my MSc dissertation work was based on microglia. So I decided that if I would search something very specific, then that would be much easier because neuroscience is such a diverse subject. So when you Google neuroscience and universities, you get lots and lots of labs with different types of neuroscience related work. So I had to streamline my choices. And then when I searched labs related to microglia, and that's how I found my PI, and I mailed him. He accepted my mail, and then he responded quite well. We had a conversation, and then he took my interview. And after interview, he selected me. The interview process was also very smooth, and I felt very comfortable. Like it was. This was the first time I didn't feel very nervous and very intimidated. I really felt very comfortable, and I think that was the first sign I kind of got that okay, so this is for me. So yeah, so that's how I got my lab. And after securing my position in the lab, I formally applied in University of Alberta. So there was a whole formal process of sending your transcripts and everything. And then yeah, so then I got my call letter and then I applied for my visa. So
All
yeah,
right.
that's
Maybe we could pick up some questions from here. Like you said, you streamlined your
yes,
research subject. So it
yes,
is
yes.
very important, like, because when you streamline your research area, that means you will have less number of labs, right?
Yes,
And but for you, you already knew what is your research interest, and you were
yes,
very, very sure that you want to study only this subject. So how
yes.
many labs did you find in your area, like when you were streamlining it? And did you just find your subject in Canada, or you also applied in different countries like Australia, Europe?
Yeah, so initially, when I was looking for labs related to microglia research, I found few labs in Europe. I
Mhm.
found few labs in US and Canada. So, so when I was when I was listing them out, so I always maintained a diary where I wrote which professors I'm going to mail and everything. So some of them that I mailed earlier, I didn't get any response as such. So I presume that they already got students. But my professor currently, he was the one who actually kind of started interacting with me, and he responded me. And yeah, so that's how I selected, okay, fine, so I'm having this really nice interaction with this supervisor. So yes, so this is the one that I would go further, because the labs that I had mailed earlier, I didn't really get any response back. So I kind of crossed them out from my list. So yeah, so that's how I got to the specific lab, and then in the specific lab I gave my interview and everything happened.
Yeah. And how much time it took you to do all that process? Because you made a list of all the professors,
Yes.
and then you send them an email and you send them all those documents. And it must have taken at least 6 months to 1 year.
Yeah. It definitely took. So I started this process after I finished my master's. So to be honest, when I was in the final year of my master's, I was not very sure whether I would do a PhD in India or abroad. I had so many questions in my mind, and I kind of wanted to give myself a little break and just figure out what exactly I want to do ahead. So then I finished my masters in August 2020. After that, I took a little time. I allowed myself to, and also the pandemic was going on, so not many labs were open back then. So I took time. I listed it. So it started in, I think, around November, December last year. So yeah, so now it is October. Then the whole process took almost 1 year. So
1 year,
yes,
huh?
yeah, it takes 1 year.
So it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience to get
Yes,
selected for PhD
yes,
abroad, right?
yes,
And
yes.
the other question that students ask me is like, should they apply to the lab first, or they can directly apply for the universities? So when you were searching for PhD positions,
Mhm.
you were also, how did you search? Like, did you search just the professor, or you were also sending emails to the university?
So for Europe, I actually like in case of Europe, the process is a little different. So if I talk about Germany, in Germany they have a general PhD program. So there you don't select a single PI. It's like the whole panel will be there. They will interview you, and after 1 year of coursework, you will choose your PI. So that's how the program happens in Germany. So they have a generalized doctoral program. So it's a little different from what happens in Canada and US. So in Canada and US, in North America, first you have to mail the PI. So there's no generalized doctoral system. You first have to mail the PI. They will respond. Then they will select you based on your skills and everything. And then you can apply to the university. So when I was searching for labs in other countries other than North America, I had to apply through the university portal. But in this case, in case of Canada, I first mailed my PI, and after getting selected in his lab, after that only I could apply to the university portal, because in the university portal it is written also that you first have to secure a place in the lab and then you can apply in our university. So that's how
All
it
right.
happens.